A, live life to the fullest for one thing, and then B, prepare for things for sure. As I became an entrepreneur and started growing businesses and stuff like that, I really had to start thinking about that, and once I had kids, so I've, done some estate planning for myself and put some contingencies in place with my companies. So if I die, my wife kind of knows what to do. Really, she knows. I've actually put one of my attorney friends in charge and said, call him when I die and he will be your advisor, and he knows that he's going to be the advisor, right? Like, because she doesn't know how to run all these businesses, right? But this is what you do if I die. These are the steps you need to take. This is how you divest these assets, da 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 da. Like, boom, But most people don't do that, and their families are left with a mess to try to figure out, for sure.
Yeah. I kind of equate it to dining and dashing. Like, nobody will ever do that. No one will ever confess to doing that. But, the general concept is you go into a restaurant, you have a nice meal, and you take off. Usually teenagers do this.
Yes.
And then the waitress has to foot the bill, like that comes out of their pocket. But that's what we're doing to our kids if we don't have something in place. We had a good life, and we're like, all right, we're out, and you all can pay for this. You like our stuff. If you want that stuff, then you got to pay more for it to get it. So we've really just dined and dashed on our kids.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I've never heard that one before. I love that. That's great. Well, hey, it's good talking to a storyteller too. You probably have a lot of good analogies for these things, huh?
Oh yeah, it's fun.
That's cool, man. So, like, you mentioned that you always kind of had a thing for state law, and you've done a lot of different things. Like, was there like one thing that made you decide, like, hey, I want to focus in this space, or was that a process to kind of transition into that?
It was actually something that happened at the tail end of my law school. Like, I was biting at the bit to get out. So my last semester, I was actually not at law school. I was living where I was going to be working and externing and interning and going back to law school one day a week for the credit hours to make me an official law student to finish up. And we had just left Home Depot because we were buying our first washer and dryer. So excited. We actually didn't take it home with us because I was driving a little Pontiac and driving home. And this was in Missouri, and one of those microburst storms happened, like when just like cats and dogs on top of you. But if you stick your arm out the window, that's like dry, like it's just like concentrated.
Yep.
And there were two semis in front of me, one to my right and two behind me. We were completely boxed in on I-70 going east. And my last memory was like, oh, this isn't good. There's probably a swear word in there. And we hydroplaned. We spun across the median and crashed into cars coming westbound. And I just had this enormous accident. And jaws of life was used to get us out. My wife, my son was in the car. And miracles upon miracles. That's another story for another day. But it just hit me like a ton of bricks that we weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
Had we died, there was no plan in place for my son. There was just nothing, and it really set the tone for my career. Like, hey, I don't want that to happen to anybody else. We were lucky, we were fortunate, but a lot of people aren't.
Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy story for sure. Yeah. Life's not guaranteed to us. And you've got to kind of, A, live life to the fullest for one thing, and then B, prepare for things for sure.